I'm back with another Marriage for Real video. My name is Daisy, and I've had loads and loads of messages from you guys in regards to mothers-in-laws. And so today I want to address it.
We'll just keep on praising him, raise him up. Oh yeah, you see people taking their place in your love. Oh yeah, as you keep your light in our lives from above. Oh yeah, you just spark the fire that fires me up. Oh yeah.
I'm finding that the messages I'm getting about in-laws are from women. Now, I'm not saying that it's only the husband's mother that usually gets involved with marriages, or too much involved with marriages. I know that it happens both ways, but because I've been getting a lot of messages from women about their husband's mothers, I want to address it. Now, the messages that I'm getting from women appear to me like they are shouldering a lot of the responsibility of dealing with or handling the mother-in-law. I've been getting a lot of messages from women saying, Mrs. Chiwako, my mother-in-law is all up in my marriage. Like, she is involved in every level. Mrs. Chiwako, my mother-in-law is causing so much conflict and disunity in my marriage. I don't know what to do. Mrs. Chiwako, my mother-in-law seems to think that my husband is still a baby and won't leave him alone, won't leave him to me. What should I do? And I always ask the question, how does your husband feel? And a lot of the times, the husband feels the same way, like, yes, okay, mother-in-law is all up in our business. Mother-in-law does cause a lot of problems, and mother-in-law does still treat me like a baby. But it seems to me that the men seem to be shirking or leaving the responsibility of setting up the boundaries within the marriage, in between the marriage and the mother-in-law, to the daughter-in-law, to the wives. And, you know, I'm getting wives message me saying, you know, I literally don't know what to do. How do I set up these boundaries? How do I let my mother-in-law know that this is a new home, this is a new day, this is my home now. Yes, he is your son, but now he is my husband. He has left you to cleave to me. How do I get her to back up? How do I tell her that we don't need her involved in every single situation? How do I get her not to, you know, be all up in my house all day long, all night long, telling me how to cook, telling me how to keep my house clean, telling me how to look after my family? How do I set up those boundaries? Here's the thing. I don't think it's your responsibility to do that. I don't. I believe that it is the person whose mother it is that is causing the issue that is supposed to be the one that sets up those boundaries. I believe that in the case where it is the husband's mother who is overstepping her boundaries, it is the husband who has to stand as a man of his home and say, Mama, it is time to back off. Here are the boundaries. This is where you're overstepping them, and this is how you're not supposed to overstep them anymore. It's not for the wife to jump past the husband and try and fight a battle with this mother, and the husband is just sitting back, like watching you guys fight like cat and dog. That's not fair. She's not my mom, she's yours. You set up the boundaries. And it goes same way. If it's the lady, the wife in the situation, and, you know, it's my mum, the wife, who is causing a load of problem, every moment I'm going to my mum, telling her everything that my husband has done, what he hasn't done, every decision we want to make, I'm passing it on to my mother, and I'm getting my mum involved. My mum is in the house 24/7. My husband feels like he is married to two women, and it's causing problems. It's not my husband's position to go and start standing in between that and setting the boundaries. No, I have to be the person that turns to my mother and says, look, I was grown enough to go and walk down the aisle, exchange rings and make vows with this man. I am grown enough to manage my home. You are going to have to back off. It's not the husband's position to go and do that. She is your mama. You go and speak to her. Because you know what? This is what happens when you do it the other way. When you sit back and allow the other person whose mother it's not, to feel like it's their responsibility to set the boundaries, what you do is you cause more conflict. Because all they're going to do is fight like cat and dog. All mother is going to see, let's take it from the husband's point of view. It's the husband's mum, and it's the husband's mum that's causing problems. And you're sitting back, not saying anything because you're scared of your mum. So your wife has to step in to try and cause boundaries. You are creating hell in the house, because all you're going to find is two women fighting cat and dog over you. The wife is trying to establish her position in your life, and the mother is not letting go until you tell her to. So while you're still sitting there like a baby boy and allowing your mum to take over your household, your wife is feeling like she's got to stand up and take control. You're causing havoc. What really needs to happen is you need to stand up and face your mother. Same with the wife. Wife, it's your mum. She's stepping in too much. If you are stepping back and you're allowing this to happen, number one, your husband is going to feel like he really doesn't have a position in your home. He's going to feel like he is not the man in your house. And that's a dangerous place to put your husband in. A very dangerous place. Because when he doesn't feel like he's the man in your house, he is not going to take responsibility and ownership in the household the way that he wants to. He's going to feel like he's really married to two women, and he doesn't really have a say in his house. And now all you're doing is causing conflict between your mother and your husband. And when there's conflict between them and a bad relationship, it's going to be a lot of work for you to heal that between them. The best thing to do is to just face it head on. Listen, marriage is not for babies. It's not for children. And if you are too immature to be able to stand up to your mother and say, look, mom, this is my house, this is my husband, this is my children. With the greatest respect, we need you to back off a little bit. I'm not going to be telling you everything that's going on in my home. You don't need to be involved in everything that's going on in my home. You may not like the way that we do things in my home, but this is how we're going to do it, because this is how we like it. When you were married to your husband, that's how you did it. But in this house, this is how we've got it going on, mama. If you don't like it, that one is up to you. I would suggest that you just get with the program and be part of this family in the way that we want you to be part of this family, not your way. Because remember, mama, you allowed me to leave and I went ahead and cleaved. So let me go and do that. And let me say to the mothers-in-laws, if you are the person that is causing problems in the household of your son or your daughter, you are the person that is putting asunder what God has put together. Mother or not, it comes with a price. Be careful. If your child's home is breaking apart because of you, be careful. If your son's wife is going to bed in tears because of you, be careful. Be careful. You're not doing anybody any favors. You're not doing your son any favors when you're treating him like a baby and encouraging him to come to you. Every time his wife has upset you, he comes back to mummy. You're not doing him any favors at all. You are raising an overgrown baby, an overgrown fool who does not know how to take control of his own home. The best thing a mother can do is to say, look, son, this is your house. You go and handle it the best way you can. That's the best thing you can do. And if you also think that comparing yourself with his wife, putting his wife down, making his wife feel inferior, always pointing out his wife's weaknesses to him, if you think that that's doing him a favor, again, you're sadly mistaken. You are putting asunder what God has put together. What a wise mother would do would be to make sure that his husband is loving his wife in the best way that he can, accepting her weaknesses and her faults, encouraging her and empowering her and making her feel great and secure, high self-esteem and confident in her own home. that is when you are going to find that your son, who you love so dearly, is happy and has a happy home, and your grandchildren have a happy home. But when you're the person that is sowing discord in your child's home, that is affecting his wife and is affecting his children, be careful, mama. Mama, be careful. Because listen, you know what, guys? Whenever you keep going back to your parents and sowing, giving them these seeds, oh, my husband did this, he did that, he did this, he didn't do this, he never did this, you're building up a very negative picture in your parents' minds, that when you need your parents to see good in your husband now, it's not going to happen. It's going to be very difficult. This is one of those seeds that you definitely don't want to sow, because it's going to germinate. Mama, back off, with all due respect. It may not even be mama. It may be your little sister or your big sister. It may be the father. Anybody in your family who is overstepping the boundaries, you man up or you woman up and you tell them, this is my home. Don't forget, people, these guys are going back home to their own houses and living their own lives. This is yours now. It's yours. So however it works in their house is fine. You find out what works in your home, you set the boundaries, you agree on what you're happy with, and that's what you go with. So, it's a simple one. I hope it helps you guys. If you are the person whose mother it is causing the issues in your house, then it is your responsibility to go and speak to your parents, not your spouse's. It's your responsibility. Stop making your spouse fight back and forth with your parents while you sit back like, oh, I don't know, mama, I'm sorry, this is how she is. My wife, I'm sorry, that's how my mum is. No, man up or woman up and deal with the situation. And if you're the mother-in-law, stop putting asunder what God has brought together. Be somebody who has raised a child that is man enough and woman enough to walk down the aisle, get married, and raise their own home. Alright guys, I hope that helps you. If you have any messages for me, go ahead, put them in the comment, or you can message me directly. Even still, you can email me at admin@marriageforreal.co.uk. I would love it if you go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're listening to me from New York City in America, guess what, folks? I'm heading over to New York in November to have my first Marriage for Real conference stateside. Yes, I am. If you want to know more about that, then you can message me again, but I will be putting up some promotion very soon. All right, guys, have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you soon.